Hey everyone, this is Nitro. In this video, I am going to talk about the mercenaries available for the second week of Apex Arena, and the ones which are useful. So, for a quick summary, the only one that is remotely worth using is the Lana. Even though this Lana is 5 stars, it is the best of the bunch. I would say the rest are not worth using. As for why, I'll go into detail now. So, first, let's start off with the one I feel that was useful, Lana. The reason this Lana is useful is because it actually has really good enchants. Astaroth has plus 14% int and plus 20 int. That's a better enchant than any weapon I personally have. It has the Black Bride with another 4% int, and Odin's Battle Helm with 10% hit points increase, and then finally a Vidar's Rose with 7% int increase. So it's a very high amount of intelligence increase. It has the double class mastery since it has 9 skills. Actually, it has the side branch as well with Summon Undead, and even though it's 5 stars, it is shockingly usable overall as a result. Of course, because it is 5 stars, it is incredibly vulnerable to being killed by AoE attacks. So there is that drawback of using this Lana. So, overall though, I personally wouldn't use it but my Lana is already 6 stars. It's been 6 stars for a long time. You know, my power is 6514 with more hit points overall. 3105 plus 2005 as opposed to 2706 plus 1765. So my Lana is basically better in every aspect, which is why I would not use this one. But nonetheless, this is a very usable Lana. One thing to keep in mind though is it does have Astaroth with Black Bride, so the AoE attacks will be weaker on this Lana. But single target strike wise, it is stronger than mine. Okay, so after Lana, let's talk about why I feel the rest are not usable. Let's begin with Ledin. In truth, this Ledin is actually quite good. It has a lot of defense and magic defense increase, as you can see here, and it even has the spirit boots as well. So the player who built this Ledin has went for pure defense and magic defense increase primarily, with a bit of hit points from the Oath of Justice, which makes it hit surprisingly hard for PvE. But Ledin on the whole is not a PvP tank in general, especially when it has Divine Boots, which means it's not immune to mobility debuffs, for example. That can be a killer. So that's why I don't recommend Ledin. It's a very well built PvE Ledin, you know, perfect for PvE, just not a very good Ledin for PvP in general. Ledin's not a hero for PvP in the first place. Next is Alte Muller. This Alte Muller has very good equipment, right? Last Rites, Ragnarok, Slayer's Emblem. The only thing I don't like is the Jormungandr's Eye, rather than the Alte Muller exclusive. So that's one demerit. The second demerit is that if you have the Jormungandr's if you have Alte Muller's exclusive, you would probably want the Breeze Enchant, because Breeze Enchant can last 2 turns if you have his exclusive, rather than just 1. So yeah, the enchant probably should have been Breeze rather than Full Moon. But that's for PvP purposes, right? For PvE, this is pretty much perfect. Full Moon is a great enchant for PvE, especially if you combo it with Tiaris, for example. And then finally, the reason why I don't like this Alte Muller though is because it has very minimal attack increases. Ragnarok has a 20 attack, flat 20 attack, that's it. That's like, what, 5%? There is a 2% attack increase on the Last Rites, 5% on the Jormungandr's Eye, and then this Slayer's Emblem has a mere 6 attack. So in total, this is what? 7% plus 5%, 12%, 12% plus, let's say another percent, that's a 13% attack increase. That's terrible for Alte Muller. So, you know, you're generally looking at 25% at the bare minimum. So 13% attack increase is just, yeah, useless. Next, Bowmaster Luna. Unfortunately, this Bowmaster Luna is quite odd. It doesn't have enough magic defense. That's really it, right? There's 3% on the Uller's Bow, right? 9% here, 12% here, and then a 7% here. But the problem with the Giant Belt is it doesn't increase magic defense. It increases defense, right? So overall, you're looking at 3, plus 12 from here, that's 15%. 15% plus 9. 24%. 24% plus 7%. So that's actually a 31% magic defense increase in truth. But somehow it's led to a total of 323 magic defense plus 191. Okay. If I look at my Luna, which has just recently hit 6 stars, 366 plus 322. So that right there explains why this Luna is terrible. It looks good in terms of the percentages, but I believe this Luna should be missing, let's say, the Heart Bond and probably missing some of the Toughness Bond upgrades. Hence, its magic defense is much lower than it should be. Next, Chloe. Chloe with Full Moon, which is a very acceptable and good enchant for her in truth. Now, as for why I don't like this Chloe, is because I just don't like the amount of hit points it has. 2630 plus 1778. If we go to my Chloe, and keep in mind my Chloe is not even finished yet either, 2819 plus 2809. And I have 3 SSR items. Sorry, I have 3 SR items. It's not even all SSR gear. So that kind of says it all. This Chloe just doesn't have enough hit points to survive. You know, it's nice. You know, I like the gear, except for the Deathstrobe, but somehow it just has very, very low hit points, so pass. Chris, in general, not a PvP character. You know, this looks like a solid PvE Chris in general, but once again, surprisingly low int, right? 22 int with 5 intelligent, 5% int is like around 10 to 11%, you know. 3%, so that's maybe 14%, 14% plus 5, 19%, 19% with no int on the Dimension Jewel. Next, Liena. Liena, here it has pretty good gear set, right? Goddess's left hand, sorry, Overstaff with a Goddess tier. Tenyo's headdress, which is actually very, very good, and then a Galaxy Cloak. So Liena in general survives with Shrine Maidens anyways, so the gear-wise, hit point-wise, is not a deal breaker in general, but on the whole, I feel like it has much lower int than it should, and most importantly, it doesn't have double class mastery, so it doesn't have access to the Sky Archers. That kills it for PvP purposes in general. Right. Currently, Sky Archers summons are still considered unique characters that go on their own turn, so if you're trying to use a Liena without the summon, it's terrible. Leticia. Leticia has a very weird mix of gear. I mean, I want to cry because I saw this. A Swordsmith medal on Leticia. Why? Why? Why is this not on someone else? And it's like a broken set. There's 2 pieces of Thorns equipment, an Aeneas' helmet with Hard Rock, and a Dragon Slayer Gram with Rough Sea. So, pass. Sonya? All SSR gear, all Rough Sea enchant, but once again, doesn't seem to be any real hit point boost at all, right? If you look at each of these, there's not a single hit point increase on any of them. Well, I suppose you can say there's 64 hit point increase on from the enchants. So that right there makes it impossible to survive. Cavalry characters in general are quite terrible for PvP. So I would say it's a pass as well. And then finally, Imelda. SR gear, everything, gone. Pass. So, at the end of the day, there is only this 5-star Lana that is usable, and even then, because it's 5 stars, you may have to kind of consider. I'm not going to be using any of the mercenaries this week, in conclusion. So, thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you found that breakdown on the characters useful to you. And yeah, it's kind of unfortunate because the first week had the nice Sakura, but this week has absolutely nothing. So on that note, Nitro out.